The leader's role is to build and maintain a high-performing team that outperforms the competition. In this episode, we'll discuss Emotional Quotient, or EQ, one of the core skills and abilities needed to be a successful leader. In future episodes, we'll discuss additional core skills and abilities important to being a successful leader.
Hi, I'm Rick Kendall.
And I'm Fred Ball.
Welcome to Management Mastery. The purpose of these podcasts is to share what each of us has learned about good and bad management in our combined over 40 years of experience, both as managers and executive coaches. During that time, we've coached managers at every level in companies from Fortune 100s to brand new startups in all major businesses, including nonprofits, government, and education. So whether you're just starting in your first management position or are an experienced manager looking to strengthen your management skills, we know our podcast will be valuable to you.
Effective leaders inspire and influence others by setting a clear vision, fostering a culture of trust, and empowering their teams. They achieve goals by balancing authority with empathy and by actively developing their people rather than just delegating tasks. Today we'll take a look at one of those core attributes that define effective leadership, one's emotional quotient, or EQ.
EQ is a set of personal and social abilities that essentially add up to maturity. It refers to the capacity for recognizing one's own feelings as well as those of others, and for managing emotions well in ourselves and in our relationships.
This self-awareness means having an understanding of your own emotions and how they affect you, as well as your ability to deal with others. EQ also involves self-regulation, that is, the ability to demonstrate self-control under stress, as well as having the ability to adapt to change. EQ also involves social skills, which include the ability to move people in a direction you desire. And we will be talking about understanding yourself and self-regulation throughout this episode.
Right. Now, the good news about EQ is that while development of our general intelligence, or IQ, pretty much stops early in life, EQ can continue to develop as we go through life and learn from experience. In other words, it's possible to increase your EQ at any time by reading about it, talking with mentors, friends, and colleagues you respect, and, perhaps most importantly, by practicing it.
The senior executives that we coach and work with who believe in that statement that they can continue to develop it as they go through life are the ones who achieve the most success.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that is just self-evaluation. I mean, asking yourself, how am I doing? Where could I have done better?
I agree with you. And talking with people who you're close to who will give you honest feedback is really helpful as well.
Yes, absolutely.
Now let's talk about how you can best practice EQ in the workplace. It starts, as we've said, with understanding your own emotions and how they affect your ability to deal with others. And let's be honest, it is much easier to manage your emotions when things are going well. By going well, we mean that your business is going well, you're meeting your goals, your clients are happy, and your team is cohesive. When this happens, you're most likely having no difficulty managing your emotions, and your demeanor is pleasant and agreeable.
Yeah, but what if everything isn't going well? Of course, this is a condition faced by virtually every manager in every industry. And sometimes several problems can arise at the same time. For example, your boss drops a difficult project in your lap and wants it completed by an unreasonable deadline.
And say at the same time, a key staff member tells you that their spouse is being transferred to another part of the country and they're resigning.
Right. And on top of that, you learn that an important client is not happy with the person on your team who's covering them.
Clearly, this will be a test of your ability to manage your emotions. In such situations, it's important to take the time in quiet to recognize the situation and the increased emotional stress you'll be under.
Yes, and you want to think back on situations like this that you've experienced in the past and how you dealt with them. Try to think of specific examples where you feel that you handled the situation well.
And this is going exactly with what we were talking about before with the EQ, and that is having the ability to think about your reaction and how you might want to change things.
Right. But sometimes, you'll get feedback after the fact with others about, you really screwed up there or whatever. So you've got feedback, and you can go and try to be honest and say, all right, where could I have done better? And it's also important to make sure you're getting enough sleep. Something that's not always easy when you're under stress, but nevertheless, you'll need energy to be on top of your game. Also, you want to let your family know that this is a rough period and may mean longer hours at work for a period of time. So keep them informed as much as you can about what's happening at work. Adult family members can often be important neutral sounding boards for discussing stressful situations.
And as soon as you can, you want to try to develop a game plan to deal with the issues you're facing. Smart leaders know they won't be able to handle these issues alone, and so they immediately begin to decide where they can delegate tasks to team members, as well as identify colleagues, friends, and family members who may give them guidance. As you do this, keep in mind that while delegating will help you, you are still ultimately responsible for the outcomes.
Right. And from your experience with stressful situations in the past, try to recognize when a particularly difficult time is approaching and be prepared. It may not happen, but it's always good to be ready if it does.
In any case, whenever you feel your stress level rising, and especially if you started to come down hard on your staff, get out of the office if at all possible. Again, get out of the office if at all possible. Go take a 20-minute cool-down walk where you can put things into perspective, determine what is going wrong, and determine a plan to straighten things out.
And then, when you've cooled down, decide if you need to apologize to anyone, and do it. Sometimes that's the hardest thing to do, is to go and say, gee, I was really a jerk there, and I'm sorry. And remember, as the leader, your staff need you to be positive. Be the motivating force that helps them to know what success will look like, and that you will lead them to achieve it.
That's so important that you, as the leader, no matter what the situation may be, are positive about where the direction that you're going and where it will ultimately lead.
Yeah, and I agree. And I think a lot of times, especially new managers, don't realize that they set the tone for a department, that they set its mood, that regardless of who the staff are, the energy and the vibe that you bring to the department will diffuse into that department. So it's up to you to make it a pleasant place to work, regardless of the stress level.
That's an excellent point, and we try to stress that in all of the coaching that we do.
Right.
In summary, the leader's role is to build and maintain a high-performing team that outperforms the competition. We discussed a core attribute that defines effective leadership, EQ, or one's emotional quotient, which includes self-awareness and self-control, as well as understanding the needs and emotions of others around you. In future episodes, we will discuss other key leadership attributes and skills, such as relationship building, clear communication, and accountability and integrity.
hope you have found this podcast useful and will come back again for more management mastery. If you have any comments about this or any of our episodes, or would like to find out more about our other services, including one-on-one coaching and group seminars for managers, visit our website at careercoachclass.com. Thanks for listening.